When you're in a room filled with a lot of women, you may encounter some cattiness. More than likely you will. So you gotta have that thick skin, and you have to be able to stand up for yourself. Hey you guys, it's IOB and welcome back to my channel. I haven't posted in like 3 or 4 weeks. This is probably the longest that I haven't posted in a while. So to those who've been looking for new content, my apologies. Life in general has just made it a little bit harder for me to, now I can't even give you that excuse, y'all. I just, I keep saying I'm gonna post a video or create content and I haven't, but I'm back. So let's just cut to the chase, okay? Ever since dropping my video about my experiences working at the strip club months ago, I've gotten a lot of questions from girls. I've gotten a lot of DMs asking me different questions because they too were interested in starting work at the strip club. And so I decided to make this follow-up video, which is long overdue, giving you guys some of the key tips based on those questions, okay? As y'all know from that video, my experience at the strip club was very short because I didn't feel like it was worth the drive and all other factors that you can find in that video. But for those who are still really interested in breaking into that industry and who would like to get their start, whether that's as a cocktail waitress or bartender, here are some of my key tips. So one of the questions was, how old do you have to be to work at the strip club? You only have to be 18 years old. From what I understand, 18 years old, even as a stripper. And then if you are a waitress, they just have you on the back on a board, or at least at the strip club that I worked at, that's what they did. They had all the girls who were 18 on a board so that everyone knew not to serve them alcohol. In terms of what to wear to your interview, or if you're going to the club to apply, for those who have the question of how do I apply, what do I wear? In order for you to apply, what I did was I called the strip club. One of my friends actually was working there, so she had me call and reach out to the manager. And so that's what I did. And from there, the manager told me to come into the strip club to apply. And more than likely, that's what's gonna happen. If you're interested and you see a strip club that you like, go ahead and give them a call to say, hey, I wanted to know if you have any openings for waitressing or bartending or even hostess positions. And if they do, they might ask you some, pre-qualifying questions like your age, if you have customer service experience, whatever. Nowadays, I wouldn't be surprised if they ask you to send them your Instagram or something like that because they want to see how you look. But more than likely, they'll tell you to come into the strip club so that you can apply. And the whole purpose of this is to see what you look like. So in terms of what you wear then when you go to the strip club, I always recommend black. I think black is always the color to go, and you don't need to dress super formal. You don't need to dress business casual. That is not the type of environment that you are in. So I would recommend all black, something nice and dressy, probably something with a little cleavage. I know what I wore was black high-waisted jeans and this cute tie-around black blouse and some strapped heels, some strapped black heels. That was what I wore. For you, you could wear a dress, you could wear a skirt and a blouse, but like I said, it doesn't have to be super formal. It shouldn't be formal at all. You're not going to a corporate interview. You're not going to apply for a clerical job. You're going to apply to be a waitress or bartender at a strip club. And they're all about selling a fantasy in there. So you want to go dolled up and you want to go dressed nice, showing a little bit of what you got, not too much, and you should be good to go. If it's a question of whether or not you should wear sneakers or heels, definitely heels. If you have to choose between sandals and heels, I'll say heels. I don't think it's absolutely necessary, but considering that a lot of these clubs may require you to wear heels, it's good to lead that way. So in terms of your experience, what do you really need? I feel like, honestly, if you are a friendly person, if you have a really upbeat attitude, then you're pretty good to go. It'll be pretty easy to train you in terms of customer service and waiting. But if you had to have a specific experience, it would definitely be customer service experience. So that's something that you can highlight. Like maybe you have customer service experience from working at a grocery store, or maybe you have been a waitress before, but at a restaurant, or maybe you've worked retail. All of that matters, and all of that goes towards your customer service experience. Can you talk to people? Are you approachable? These are all things that really make a difference. Key qualities I would say that a cocktail waitress or bartender should have, and if you guys notice me looking off to the side, it's because I have my notes pulled off onto the side too, so I don't forget anything for y'all. Key qualities, I said attractive. Once again, in a strip club, you're selling a fantasy, so they want you to look good. Friendly, flirty. This is just naturally a part of the job. You are going to get men who may comment on your looks, who will compliment you. And it's not to say put yourself out there, girl. You're not out here trying to get a number or trying to get picked up at the end of the night. You're just trying to get a good tip. So if a guy tells you you look nice or you're the prettiest girl in the club, thank you. You are so sweet. Flirt, but keep it cute. Flirt, get your money, and leave, okay? Get that bread, and leave. Okay? Fast paced, so you gotta be able to multitask. So you might have one table who just gave you their order of drinks, and then you have another table off to the side saying like, hey, I want something else. You gotta be able to move pretty quickly and balance it all, and not forget that after you serve this table, you gotta make sure you go over to this table, and then you gotta make sure you go over to the POS system and input the drink so the bartenders can get that going. And then firm also. And when I say firm, this quality comes into play when it comes to working alongside other cocktail waitresses, working with the bartenders, and also sometimes working with strippers. And I'll get into that a little later because I feel like I can go in depth about that further down the line. Shifts. So for the strip club that I worked at, they had the day shift and the night shift. Obviously for me, since I was already working a 9 to 5, I always did the night shift. And the night shift was typically like 7 p.m. to 2:30, 3 o'clock a.m. So just imagine me if I get off at 4:30, try to take some time to let my dogs out, eat something, get my club stuff together, and then basically gotta get on the road to get to the strip club. So there was really not that much time for a break. But yeah, you're there for that long period of time. If it's a day shift, the strip club that I was at, I think they opened at like 12. So the day shift was like 12 to 7, night shift was like 7 to 2:30 a.m. 3. And I say till like 3-ish because at the end of the day, you not only have to count up your tips, but you also have to like clean up your area, tip out everybody, all that good stuff. Your attire at work. This is different for every club. The club that I was at, it was a corset, and then we had to wear opaque panties, meaning solid panties. And then we had flesh tone stockings as well. And then we had our stripper heels, preferably because those are more comfortable, or just heels that were 3 inches or higher. Not all strip clubs will require their waitresses to wear heels, but the one that I was at did. So it really just depends where you're at. Your attire will probably change based on where you're at. It may not be a corset. It may be a bra and panty set, like a lingerie set. You just never know. For training, the first week or so, we were shadowing. And so shadowing just meant we were following around another cocktail waitress who had been there for a while, who was pretty seasoned, and just watching how she interacted with the customers, how she took orders, how she entered it into the system, just how she navigated around the club. And so we did that. And then following that shadowing period, then we were responsible for taking orders, but just with the support of the waitress that we were once shadowing. So she'd be there for support. If you forget something, she'll step in to be like, oh great, okay, yes, no, you wanted this, did you want it on the rocks, or did you want it neat, or whatever. So from there, then once you got the hang of it, you were let off to take orders and do everything on your own. In terms of breaks, we had 30-minute breaks. It was weird because let's say I did get in at 7 and I didn't get off until 2:30. The way they had breaks set up, I could get there at 7 and my break is at 7:30. Or I could get there at 7 and my break is at 8. So I take my 30-minute break at 8, and then I have no break from 8:30 until close. So that was a little frustrating. Once again, that will vary club to club, but that was just my experience at the strip club that I worked at. You could order food from the kitchen, and that would just be taken out of your tip. So if you decided you wanted fried chicken from the kitchen, you would just pay however much that was out of your tips, and there wasn't a discount on food. Once again, varies strip club to strip club. In terms of tipping out, I got a lot of questions about this, and I don't know if this is something that is specific to the club that I worked at, or if this is kind of like a universal thing when it comes to cocktail waitresses tipping out other people in the club. But what happened was, at the end of the night, you not only had to take out a percentage of your tips to go towards the club for tax reasons, but you also had to tip out the bartender. You gave them 10% of whatever you made. And I'm gonna keep it 100. Most of the cocktail waitresses were not actually tipping out 10% because no one really understood why. You know, why do we have to give the bartender a tip? It's the club's job to compensate the bartenders, not the cocktail waitresses. Like, it's your job to make the drinks. Why am I rewarding you, or why am I coming out of my pocket to tip you at the end of the night? So a lot of times, most of the cocktail waitresses didn't actually tip them out a full 10%. Like, if you made $100 that night, instead of giving 10, you might give them 5. I don't know. And for me, some nights I'm only getting $50 or whatever. It may have even been more than that. I don't even freaking remember. But all I know is most of us were not coming up out of our cash to give them all of it, but that was a requirement. 10% to the bartenders or more, don't quite remember. Tipped valet. And you did also have the option of just parking on your own. That way you didn't have to tip valet. But honestly, if you're a woman and you've been dealing with different people in the club, and you may have a creepy dude who's kind of been following you the whole night, you don't want to be walking to your car at 3 o'clock in the morning by yourself. So that's someone else that you had to tip, the valet attendant. Also security, we were required to tip security. And I think that was everything. But that, I just listed 4 things right there. I said the bartender, I said valet, I said security, and then you had to take from your tip towards taxes. So the thing about it was too, when it came to hourly pay, in terms of pay, basically if you made a certain amount of money in tips, you would not be paid hourly. Or it was something along the lines of kind of like when you work at a restaurant, you're paid like $2 an hour. You're paid $2 an hour or nothing at all if you've made more in tips than you would your hourly pay. I hope that makes sense. All I can say is I never received a check or a direct deposit from that club, because apparently my tips were enough and they outweighed whatever they would have been paying me. So going back to the key qualities, right? I said you should be friendly, you should be attractive, you should be flirty, you should be able to work in a pretty fast-paced environment, and you should be firm. I say firm as it applies to working alongside other waitresses, bartenders, and strippers, because it can be a bit competitive in there, especially when you're in there on a slow night. A stripper may not necessarily care for you to be in her client's face, you know, because she wants to get as much money as she can that night because it's a pretty slow night. Or you may encounter other waitresses who, even though they have their own section, your section may be popping, and so they try to slide in there maybe when you're getting drinks or doing something else, so they can try to take orders in your section and get clients. Or you maybe even encounter bartenders who are a bit rude, and maybe they are flirting with someone who's sitting at the bar, and you have a table who's been waiting on their drinks for 5 minutes, and it's just like something has to give. This is where being firm is so important, right? For the stripper who may not want you to serve her client, I mean, more than anything, I think what benefited me was actually getting cool with the strippers, right? Building a relationship with them helped me to where whenever they did have regulars who would come in, they'd be like, hey, I come over here so you can help so-and-so. That way we partner together, help get money out of them. It's gonna sound bad, but being completely honest, you know, the more drunk somebody gets, the more likely they are to spend and things like that. So you partner with a stripper who's like, okay, let's turn up over here, let's get everybody drinks, let's keep them coming. They're going to be more likely to tip us very well. So for them, I think it was more so just being pretty friendly with them. I didn't really have any issues with the exotic dancers or strippers. It was more so, once again, the cocktail waitresses and the bartenders. So whenever I would see someone in my section, in terms of being firm, it's just like, hey, did you go over there and help so-and-so? Well, you know that's my table, right? Okay, great. So I'll take over it from there. And because that's my section, like, those are my tips. Like, you understand this is my section. You can't try to come over here. And if you do want to come over here and make some money, talk to me about it first. And I think it's really important to be firm and show that you're not going to get walked over, because some girls are too shy and they're just like, and don't get me wrong, I'm a really nice person, but if the money already is not that good anyway, don't try to get in the way of me making my money. It's just not going to work like that. So I think communication was really key there. Just kind of letting people know, like, I'm not the person that you can walk over. Like, this is not that type of party. If you want to go over there to someone else and try to like impede on their money, good for you, but this is not the area that you will do that at. So there was that. And then also with bartenders who would be flirting at the bar with, you know, patrons and things like that, it's just a matter of, hey, you know, I need you to make these drinks. We have guests who are going to be unsatisfied. Can you please go ahead and start this process, right? And I mean, what are they going to do? Get an attitude and say no? Okay, bet. Well, that means you're not getting money either, because at the end of the day, I got to tip your ass. And especially if you get an attitude with me, you're definitely not getting anything. So, it's not nice, you know, but like I said, just being firm and just being able to put your foot down and show them that you cannot be run over, I think it's super important, because once again, it's a very competitive environment. Every girl in there wants to make her money, so you got to have a bit of thick skin. And there are women, when you're in a room filled with a lot of women, you may encounter some cattiness. More than likely you will. So you got to have that thick skin, and you have to be able to stand up for yourself. And that's what I mean by firm. I feel like I've hit all my points though. If I did not answer a question that you may have had, please drop it in the comments below or send me a DM. I am happy to continue to answer as many questions that you guys may have. And I hope this really was helpful. And if you are about to go interview or apply for a position at the strip club, best of luck to you. Kill it, girl. guy, whoever, and blessings to you all. I will see you in the next video. Bye.